All right. Welcome everyone back to the stream. Today is day 26 of becoming a full stack developer in 8 months. And we're continuing with project library that we have from the JavaScript part. And I don't know what that is. I haven't read any of the assignment points. I think it will be something to do with the last lesson. Let's go. Welcome to the chat, my brother. And if you notice, we now have a Discord. I made it, but it's not fully done, so you can join that. And it's still in the making, it's still in construction, but you can type !Discord to join it, and we'll build on top of it, and we'll make it a really nice community. So this is the beginning of it, and yeah, I even haven't added much channels and so on and so forth, but yeah, you can type in !Discord to get the link. And maybe we'll have this as a future reference, because we'll build this so much it will be unnoticeable from where it is today. And in a later stream, in a couple of months, we'll look back at the Discord and we'll be like, damn, it really started from nothing. Alright, cool. How to join !Discord? Well, let me try it. Discord. It will be funny if the Nightbot now doesn't work. I think it won't actually. The Nightbot, I've seen. Oh, there you go. Nightbot works. Oh, okay. I was just going to Google how to fix it. Alright. You can join via this link. Thank you so much. Alright, so we're beginning with project library, and let's extend the book example from the previous lesson and turn it into a small library app. If you haven't already set up a Git repository for your project with skeleton HTML, CSS and JS files, from here on out we'll assume that you have already done this. Alright, so we haven't quite done it, so we're going to go into GitHub and set up a new repository. We'll call it JS library, and we'll create the repository, grab the SSH. We can close out of this, start up a new terminal, cd into repos, and git clone the repository. We'll cd into it, JS library, and we'll touch the index.html, we'll touch styles.css, and we'll create script.js. Okay, code dot, and this will open up the file. Let me emit the boilerplate of the HTML, link the style sheet, link rel href styles.css, and link the script src. This will be script.js. Alright, so we have the boilerplate. We can go live actually. Alright, I'll be joining your Discord. Nice, using Linux. Good luck, Xander. Thank you so much for joining. Yep, using Linux, and we'll transition to macOS soon. I'm just waiting for my Mac Mini to arrive. It will be really fun. Alright, so let's see what we have to do. All of your book objects are going to be sorted in an array, so add a function to the script, not the constructor, that can take some arguments, create a book from those arguments, and store the new book object into an array. Your code should look something like this. Alright, that's great. Yep, indeed. Alright, so they're using the code from last time, but let's try to recall it and build it again. I just don't remember what exactly what did we exactly do. We did a construction function that so function book, let's say, that takes in, it was book name, author, pages num and is red. So this was kind of it, and this dot book name equals book name. Was that how you make a constructor? I already forgot, but we'll check upon it. This dot author equals author. This dot pages num equals pages num, and this dot is red equals is red. Alright, so function book, just a second. Alright, and now to create a book, let's say const book1 equals new book with name. Actually, let's put that in. Maybe new wasn't capital. Yeah, new was like that. Book name. Just to test if that works. Author. Pages num to 287 and true for is red. So let's console.walk book1, and let's see if our constructor is working. So we do have book1 indeed, and it is actually setting the author to author, book name to book name, is red true, pages 287. So this is indeed how we make a constructor, so that should be working. Thank you everyone who joined. Yeah, getting some messages already. Thank you guys, appreciate you. Perfect. So let's see, now we'll have I'm just going to copy this and we'll study it. We'll have const of my library, so this will be the library where we hold the books. Function book, we already done that, so we can just paste the constructor in here. We'll remove this, and function add book to library, do stuff here. So write all of your book objects are going to be stored in an array, so add a function to the script, not the constructor, that can take some arguments, create a book from those arguments, and store the book in a new object. Wait, so let me read that slowly and carefully one more time. All of your book objects are going to be stored in an array. Alright, so they're going to be stored in that const my library array. So add a function to the script, not the constructor. This is the function they're talking about, because this is the constructor that can take some arguments. So we need to add arguments here, or the book actually. Create book from those arguments. That is strange, because they're saying add a function to the script, not the constructor, that can take in some arguments, create a book from these arguments, and store the new book object into an array. Your code should look something like this. It's a bit of strange wording, guys, I have to say, but add book to library. So the add book to library will take in the book, and it will be my library dot push and book. So that should be like the function that will add a book to the library, but we can test it out. I just regret that I removed my book one, so we'll have to rewrite it. New book, and then we'll put name, author, My Discord is ready. The Discord is ready. Let's go here, man. Hello, Supreme Overload. The Discord is not ready. I'm still working on it, and it takes a lot of time. But I've put it up so you can already join, and we'll start building on top of it. So we'll start from nothing. Basically, I showed it on stream already. It's very minimal, just some channels, nothing in there, and we'll be able to build up on top of it. You can share your ideas and so on, and we'll implement them together, and we'll grow it ourselves from scratch. It will be amazing. I'm really pumped for this, actually. But yeah, so creating one book, and we can console.log it again. So book 1, then we'll try add book to library, and we'll call it on book 1, and then let's console.walk the my library. Let's actually console log it before that as well, so we can check before and after we've added the book. So yeah, as you can see, we've created the book successfully. There is our library, and there is the method that adds our book to the library. So I think we're good up until now. Write a function that loops through the array and displays each book on the page. You can display them in some sort of table. Alright, well, this is going to be interesting how we're going to do that. So write a function that loops through the array and displays each book on the page. You can display them in some sort of a table or each on their own card. It might help for now to manually add a few books to your array so you can see the display. While it might look easier to manipulate the display of the books directly rather than store their data in an array first, from here forward you should think of these responsibilities separately. We'll delve deeper into this concept later, but when developing applications we want the flexibility to recreate elements like our library and its books in various ways using the same underlying data. Therefore, consider the logic for displaying books to the user and the book structures that hold all informations as distinct entities. This separation will enhance the maintainability and scalability of your code. Alright, so write a function that loops through the array and displays each book on the page. So first let's make a couple of books. Let's make book 2. I want 5 books, let's say. 3, 4, and 5. We'll have name 1, actually name 1, name 2, name 3, name 4, and oops, name 5. Excuse me for the retarded naming. I'm just doing this so I can have some data already that we can use. Alright, that should be true. False. And the last one false as well. Let's say for some diversity. Author 1, author 2, author 4, 3, and 5. Oops. Alright, so we have a couple of books now, and we can add each one to the library just so we have that field. 3, 4, and 5. Now we have created some books and we have added them to the library, and now we need a function to loop through the library and display each book on, I think I want to use a grid for that. Done with my sign up. Perfect, thank you so much. I'll also make you a moderator in the Discord, but I'll do it off stream after we're done with that. So let's do a function, and it will be show library, let's see. In that function we want to loop through the array, so can we do for each? How was that done? For each, so I forgot a lot of the JavaScript. So for each book in, do I have to say my library? And then let's try to console log it first to see if that works at all. Console log book. Alright, so unexpected at line 27. Line 27 for each book. Rizzy, thank you for joining the chat, my guy. Let's see how to do for each loop on, oops, sorry, what the fuck, how to do for each loop on array JavaScript. It's been 2 weeks since I've been written JavaScript and I'm already rusty. So they're doing it with an arrow function, was that it? Wait, my array for each element, we don't have to specify where. So for each book, and then we do the arrow function, is that it? No. For each element, there has to be one more here and here. Alright, so it's not console logging the book. Can I console.log the my library? My library. See, we have all the books in here, but what are we making today? We're making a library app with JavaScript. This is the project for today from the Odin project, and I have no idea how we're going to build it, but we'll make the best of it. Alright, I'm just not sure why the console log is not working at the moment. Book to string, no. Oh, because we're not calling the function, of course. So show library, let's call the function, and we have 5 objects. Let's not put it to string. Alright, so indeed now we're looping through the books, and we have to find a way to manipulate the DOM and add each book into its separate grid cell. First, I guess, let's go ahead and what we're going to do for the structure. Let's add a container, dot container. That will be the container for the books, and inside, I don't think we have to add anything for now. Let's go to the styles, save that, and make body, get rid of the margins, margin 0, and box sizing border box. From then on, do the dot container. This has to be width of, let's say, how much, 1000 pixels, and then height of 100 viewport width height, sorry, then margin 0 auto, and let's do background color black just to see how it works. Yep, so perfect, exactly what I needed. I can remove the background color for now. Are you putting these projects in your portfolio? No, I don't think so. We're just learning at the moment, and the more advanced projects will put in some sort of portfolio. I actually want to code a portfolio on stream. I have a very nice idea of how to do it with 3JS, so the 3D stuff, and I think it will be pretty cool, but we'll get there. Now, inside of the container, let's actually make book, how do you say it, a class called book grid, and we'll make this the grid container. So I actually don't have to. I don't have to do that. This is extra work. I'm just going to do it on the container. Why would I do that? Maybe after that we can change it up, but for now let's put it as this, what is it? Display grid. Yep. And we'll set 3 or 4 columns. Let's do 4 columns. So grid template columns. We'll do repeat 4 of 1 fr. So we have 4 columns, 1 fraction each, and this maybe should be enough. How are we going to structure the HTML for the books? Because with JavaScript we'll add them dynamically to the HTML. It's just how we're going to structure them. So each book will be like in a container, but wait, let's write it out. So let's do an example book. So we'll do dot book. This will be the container for the book. We'll have h3, let's say title. We'll have h4 as the author. We'll have a p tag for the pages num, and lastly we'll have a p tag with is red. We'll see how we're going to sort all this. But that's basically what we're going to have, and we're going to change the title with the book's title from here, book name. Let's see how is that done. We'll have to use some DOM manipulation. So for each book, when you go through it, I don't want to console log it, but do we have to select the container first and then do like a book selector as well? So let's make a constant for the container, const container equals document dot get element by class name container, our container. Can we console log container just to see if that worked? HTML collection div container. Yep, it seems to be working. Okay, so this way we can target the container, and what we want is to add inner HTML, I guess. Container dot inner HTML. How did you add inner HTML? Inner HTML in JavaScript. dot inner HTML, right? So just like that, and we'll then do actually backticks. We'll say I can actually get that structure from here. We'll add in the div book. So for each one, hey man, I'm interested. Did you start this without having previous knowledge? And what's your main motivation in doing this? It's inspiring to keep it up. Right, so let me address that. Yes, I do have some previous knowledge. If you look at my GitHub, I initially started programming when I was like in 2018, I believe, when I was 17, something like that, but I didn't stick to it. I just learned a bit of HTML, CSS, a bit of JavaScript, but I was just following tutorials and I got into tutorial hell. I burned out like a lot and I didn't want to do programming for a few years until in my 20s, when I was 20 or 21 years old, I went to a coding bootcamp where we learned Java. Turns out there I didn't pay too much attention as well, so I couldn't I got job offers for Java developer, but I didn't like the pay they offered, so I skipped that and began working as a COBOL developer, which doesn't have anything to do with what we're doing right now. So I know about the principles of programming. I've forgotten most of them, so this is like me trying to change careers, because what I'm doing as a COBOL developer, there are only a few institutions where they're like hiring developers, and where I'm at right now is not my hometown. I want to get back to my hometown, and there is just no bank or institution that uses COBOL, and on top of that I don't really want to do it anymore. It's just boring, so I'm not doing it, and I'm doing it in 8 months because, and this is the first that I'm telling it, but it's because I'm having a baby on the way, and I want to get everything over and be able to switch careers and move back to my hometown so we can raise the child there and just be more flexible. So yeah, I'm doing this, I'm hustling. This is my main motivation. I'm also, like, my wife doesn't go to work, I'm paying for everything basically, for the rent, the housing, so on and so forth. So she and my baby that's on the way are my current motivations. This is why I'm doing it. So yeah, hopefully that helps, and I'm glad that it's inspiring to you. Hopefully we can get more people inspired, and we can build a community and yeah, build something together and have fun. Yeah, hopefully that answers your question. This is my first time sharing something like this. Alright, so we'll add the class of book. Let me just style it up a bit nicer. Okay, and what resources are you using to learn full stack development? I watch YouTube, use Udemy courses, and try to build my own project from time to time. Yeah, definitely. What we're using here is the Odin project. I'll quickly show you. I'm basically doing the exercise they gave me here. So this is the Odin project. You can go into it. It's theodinproject.com, and they have a full path you can take and read through the resources and just learn on your own. There are not a lot of videos. It's mainly just reading and implementing what you read. So this is actually better for me than watching videos and tutorials, because as I mentioned, I got into tutorial hell and it's very hard to get out of. I have heard of the Odin project. I'll have to check it out for sure. Thanks so much. No worries, my guy. Check it out, definitely. I think it's the best resource there is, so honestly, in my opinion, at least for me, because reading is hard, and it's hard for me. I didn't do it before, but this is the way to go for sure. Well, it's even more inspiring now. Wow, that's amazing, man. Hopefully everything goes according to plan. Yeah, thank you so much. Hopefully. I'm doing my best for my family, that's all. Thank you for your interest. So what we're doing now with the title, basically when we've got the backticks, we can put the $sign, and here we can use book dot what is it, book name, and I'll do this for the other ones as well, for the author. This way we can access each object's name, book name, author, pages num, and wait, this is capitalized, pages num, and is red. It will be just true and false at the moment, but we'll tweak it later after that. Thank you whoever subscribed, really appreciate it. And is red. Alright, so when we save that, we should have something already, but we don't. So we'll see why that is. Show library. I'm calling the function, and for each book, container.innerHTML. Is it plus equals? No. Alright, that's not quite working. Let me get rid of that as well. Container. And we don't see anything. Let me see why. Nothing is inside the container. In the console we also don't get anything. Can we wait, so container inner HTML, are we forgetting anything? Maybe this. I have to make the code editor a bit smaller. I probably don't need that as well. Okay, so let's see why that is not working now. For each book, can we console walk the console.walk book dot book name? So yes, indeed, we're console logging name 1, name 2, name 1, so on and so forth. Why is the inner HTML not working though? Get element by ID, inner HTML. JavaScript add HTML element to a selected container. Adding HTML to the end of a container. Inner HTML. Alright, I'm a bit of a wet noob, so I do things like. However, I'm guessing there is a purer way of accomplishing the task of modifying the HTML. This doesn't even work for me, so I recommend using append child. Okay. So they're doing my div document, so they're getting the div, my new node, create element, div, okay, my content, document dot create text node. So to my new node they are appending the content, and to the my div they are appending the child. In HTML will remove listeners that are on your existing nodes within the element. So this is very interesting to know. Can we try with one element, just try append child? So container dot, wait, let me get rid of that, I'll comment it out probably. This whole thing we can exit out of here and comment it out. And let's try with append child. But then I think before that we need to append child document.create text node. Alright, let's try this. We'll say book title, document, create text node, and can we use the backticks to insert the title of the book? Book name and container.append child book title. So this should add a p tag. No, book name is not defined. Alright, let's see now. Book name. We have to do book.bookname. Container.append child is not a function. Menu.append child. Append child. Why is that not a function? Container. Did I mistype something? Container.append child. Why is that not working? So container is this container. Document get element by class name. They're doing document.get element by ID, but it's basically the same. We're getting the container, and then wait, book title. Yep, container.append child. Why is that not working on the container? Let me ask the GPT. Why is container.append child not a function? The issue you're encountering is because document.get element by class name container returns an HTML collection, which is an array like object, not single element. Therefore, you cannot directly use append child on a collection itself. Get element. Because I'm using elements and not get element. So wait, can I use document.get element by? So does that mean I can only get maybe I can use the query selector and it was dot container? Would that work? Yeah, perfect. So as you can see, we're displaying name 1, name 2, name 3, 4, 5, so on and so forth. And maybe that's because, maybe that's why the inner HTML wasn't working. Although I'm not sure. I'm just going to comment this out, uncomment this and give it another try. We'll do container dot query selectors. Yeah, query selectors indeed. Container dot inner HTML post equals, and let's do that. Let's see how that works. Alright, sure, perfect. It actually works, and it was because of the document I was getting, the divs as a collection, and I should have gotten a single element, and I got like a collection of divs. So that was the issue there, but as you can see, now it actually works, and this is hype because we're getting each individual book on its own like grid cells, and we can add however much many books we want, and they'll stack on new rows that we didn't explicitly define. I need you teach me about the developer's mindset. Sure. What do you exactly need to know about it? Because this is kind of broad. I don't know exactly what you're asking, but write out in the chat and I'll share what I know. Alright, so perfect. I think this is actually right. I think this actually we're done with this, but let me read it one more time. Write a function that loops through the array and it displays each book on the page. You can display them in some sort of table or each on their own card. It might help for now to manually add a few books to your array, so you can. Alright, I need you to know about staying consistent and complex problem solving. Staying consistent is something I've struggled with my whole life, and to be honest, staying consistent is even an issue for me, and it's mind-blowing that I've been doing this consistently for 26 days, and even a few more weeks before that I've been consistently learning to code without any days off. So I think you have to have something bigger that you're going after. I don't know if you were the stream, but I explained what is my motivation, and it's because I have to take care of my family. So this is why I'm doing it every day, and I think you have to define a bigger why, or you will not want it bad enough to do it every day, because not every day I want to sit here and code. Not every day I feel like I want to sit here and stream, but you have to pursue something bigger than that. You have, when you think of it, like, you need to do it. And yeah, that's about it. You have to have like a bigger goal or purpose that you're pursuing. You can make it up if you want, like make an imaginary goal, or like set an actual goal, but that you're passionate about, that you're really fired up inside about it, and you have to like it as well. And about the developer's mindset, the best thing I can share is learn about the growth versus fixed mindset. So you have growth mindset. I've already shared that in a past stream, but let me find like a good picture. So I don't know how well you can see that. Open image in a new tab. Alright, so we have the growth mindset versus fixed mindset, and I started out with a fixed mindset, which is you're kind of limiting yourself there. There's stuff like, there are thoughts like, I know best, like I don't need anyone to teach me, or no one can teach me, I know enough, this is good enough, like or you have thoughts like you're limiting yourself, like I'll never be as good as someone, or I'll never be able to learn like calculus, like complex math. I've never been a math guy, I've never like been good at math, and so on. I'll never be able to learn it. I'm not naturally good at something. All these beliefs are sabotaging you, and you'll not be able to go further if you continue thinking those those thoughts. And growth mindset is actually about, even if you don't know anything, just being open to learning and knowing that when you put enough effort and learning and time into it, you eventually be able to understand it and be good at it. And it's just putting one foot in front of the other, just doing it every day, even for a little bit. Even if it's 10 minutes a day you learn coding, it's a win for me. Just do it every single day, as often as possible, don't take like, don't start learning and take a week off after that. Figure out the minimum you can do, like one commit, and do that every day, and have a bigger purpose that you're doing it for. And adopt a growth mindset. There's actually a pretty good course on learning how to learn on Coursera. I don't know if you've gone through this, but it's mentioned on the Odin project. I went through it and it completely like changed my beliefs. As you can see, like almost 4 million people enrolled with it, and it's because it's so good. Literally, it took me a couple of days, but the things that they're going to teach you how to learn exactly and teach you about the growth mindset, this is very, very valuable, and it's free, so you can check it out. It's called Learning How to Learn, Powerful Mental Tools to Help You Master Tough Subjects. And by the end of it, you really adopt a mindset that you can learn everything if you put your mind to it. For additional resources, you can check the foundation section on the Odin project for mindset section. Yep, indeed. Probably Supreme Overload is getting a bit bored, because I remember he was here last stream when I discussed that. That's right. Thanks for the advice, man. But by the way, are you going to be doing data structures and algorithms, or you do already know it? Yes, I want to learn data structures and algorithms. I learned it when I used to learn Java, but I've forgot like all of it, so I'll be starting from scratch and we'll be learning it. For me, like data structures and algorithms is something that I didn't understand exactly when I was going through that Java bootcamp. So I can be like, I'm not good enough for learning data structures and algorithms. Like, this will be too hard, I'm not going to learn it, so on and so forth. But no, I've adopted the growth mindset, and I know this is difficult, but I'll eventually be able to learn it, and I will grow so much after learning this. Like, I think you cannot be like a professional developer without knowing at least some Java, at least some data structures and algorithms. And I think that learning this will make me level up so much, and I'm excited about learning it. I'm excited now about learning tough concepts and materials, because as I said, it will level me up so much. Where are you from? From my broken English, I'm from Bulgaria. Like, English is not my first language, but I do my best. Hopefully it improves with those live streams. I already see like a huge improvement in how I talk and act on camera from the first live stream, so hopefully it goes on and I can speak a bit more clearly and you'll be able to understand me better, hopefully. So, what were they saying in here? While it might look easier to manipulate the display of the books directly rather than store their data in an array first, from here forward you should think of these responsibilities separately. We'll delve deeper into this concept later, but when developing applications, you want the flexibility to recreate elements like our library and its books in various ways using the same underlying data. Therefore, consider the logic for displaying books to the user and the book structures that hold all informations as distinct entities. This separation will enhance the maintainability and scalability of your code. I think they're talking about this, the inner HTML, and how, for example, this guy did it, but create element div, create text node. I think this is the right way to do it instead of the inner HTML, because this way it will be more scalable, and like the author will be in its separate element that we can mention throughout the code, or I don't know. I think this will be more scalable in this, so we'll try to do it that way. I'm working on my speaking skills too. I'm from India, by the way. Yeah, cool. I think it's really important to be able to speak like better and clearer, so you can sell your ideas to other people more easily. Just communication. So I think this is what we're going to be working on right now. So we have so we can wait. How we're going to do that? I think we have to create. You can do Pomodoros. You can just code for 25 minutes, then talk with the chat for 5 minutes. You can run 3 Pomodoros, then do a long break. What I did in the beginning was 25 minutes of coding, and then I took a 5-minute rest. So I just walked around the apartment, took a rest from everything, but this kind of throws you off the flow of writing stuff and coding, as well as reading the chat. But this is a nice idea where you don't actually get up, but just do something else for 5 minutes, talk with the chat, so on and so forth, and then on the third one you take a 10-minute break. That's actually a good one. I just try to do it whenever I feel like it now, but I can think of that. Thank you for the suggestion. Now, this guy, what he is doing right now is creating elements. So he's creating the H3, for example, for the title, and here my content, create text node, text of new div, insert adjacent HTML. Also you can do that, but let me think how we can do this in a cleaner fashion. We can maybe create a class of book, because this will be kind of universal. So let's do that. In each iteration we'll create how do we call it, const, and then new book equals, or book card, let's say, and we'll do it document dot create element. We'll do a div, because this is a div, and we'll append that to the container. So container dot append child, and we'll append the book card. Also, wait now. So we append the child, but how do we append stuff inside of the book card now? We can probably do book card. Wait, book card dot append child. Oops, append child, and can we do wait, const book title equals book dot book name, and can we append now? How do we make that a H3 though, without using inner HTML? Let me ask ChatGPT how to create and append an H3 inside a div just using JavaScript without inner HTML. You can create and append an h3 element inside of a div using plain JavaScript without using inner HTML. Here's how you do it. So it's var h3 create document h3. So actually we need the book title to equal document dot create element, and we'll do h3 in brackets h3, then book title dot text content will equal book dot book name, and then after that we can append that child to the book card. So append child book title. Right, let's remove this container.innerHTML. Where does it end? Here, I guess. And let's see how that works. We're not going to console log anything. Let's go in and save it. And there you go, that works now. And we can do the same for the rest. And we'll see if there is a shorter, cleaner way of doing it, because right now we don't have to do the book card once more, and we don't have to append it, so we can kind of separate those. We'll do book author document create element. What was the book author again? I don't remember. We'll do h4 and book author dot text content will be book dot author. All right, perfect. Then after that we'll do the book pages document create element. It will be a p, and inside of the book pages we'll add in book dot what was it, pages num, and we have one last one for is red. So const book red document create element, a p tag again, book red text content, it will be book dot is red. So we append the title, but after that we'll have to also append the author, pages, and is red. So book author, book pages, and book red. Now I don't know if that's the cleanest version of it, but we can work with that. I'm actually curious to see if ChatGPT can write something cleaner. Is there a cleaner way of writing my, what was it called, show library function? Show library function. So let's see if there is a better way to do it. Yes, you can clean up your show library function by following a few best practices, such as creating a function for reusable code, like creating an element with text content, and reducing redundancy by appending elements in a more compact way. Here's a cleaner version. Okay, so what do they do here? Show library, my library. For each book, we'll do the book card, we'll create the div, helper function to create and append an element. Okay, so create append. Wow. So we're basically creating a helper function that will create our elements for us. With the tag and text, it will take them as arguments. We'll do a const element, create element with the tag. So this will create our h3, h4 and p tags. It will add the text content to it and will append out the element to the book card. So let's see if we can remember how this was done. So book card, and do we have to I don't see him appending the book card. Wait, I don't see him appending the book card to the container. Pinch out. He does it at the end. That's interesting. Okay, I'll take this as a hint and I'll move it at the end. So let's do the helper function const. We'll do create tag and it will take tag and text. How did he had like an arrow function, but const, why is there an issue with that? Wait, sorry, I'm going to look at it one more time. Const create tag. Okay. Why do we have to do the arrow function? I'm not sure. But anyway, seems to be happy that way. Then what we need to do is get the tag, create the element. So we'll do document dot create element with the tag. It will be like const tag, I guess, equals that. Can we use const tag? Let's try HTML tag. Then we have that tag created. We have to append the text, so it will be HTML tag dot what was it? Text content, and it will be equal to text. Then after that we'll append the HTML tag to the book card. So book card dot append child HTML tag. And if this is correct, I will quickly comment this out. If this is correct, we'll be able to do create tag on h3, and do I have to put it in colons? I'm not sure. h3 and then book name. So let's try with that in the beginning and we'll see if that works. Yeah, it works. Perfect. Wow, this is really cool. So I need 4 of those. h2, a p tag, and again a p tag, and we'll do book author. We'll do book dot pages num, and lastly we'll do book dot is read. Sure. Now I don't see the no, the author I've written incorrectly, that's why. Okay, and it doesn't have to be an h2 and h4 rather. Perfect, so now we have it, and look how much shorter we've written it with the helper function. I never thought of that, to use a helper function like to do the, I guess that's why you use functions in the beginning, to not have to repeat yourself. So that's why what you have to remember, to think like a programmer. This is like one of the hardest things in my opinion to, what is your operating system? It's Linux Ubuntu. So just the regular Linux. I have to like remember to, or learn actually to think like this. But this is really cool. Look how much shorter we got that function to be. I used Windows subsystem for Linux. Yeah, sure, I guess you can do that. I'm running a double like installation, where in the BIOS I can select either if I want the Windows installation or the Linux, and if I restart my computer I can change them. Okay, so this is done, and let's see. They want us to add a new book button that brings up a form allowing users to input the details for the new book and add it to the library. Author, title, number of pages, whether it has been read, and anything else you might want. How you decide to display this form is up to you. For example, you may wish to have a form show in a sidebar, or you may wish to export dialogs and modals. I think we're going to use a modal for this as indeed. Using the dialog tag, however, you do this, you most likely encounter an issue when submitting your form will not do what you expect it to do. That's because the submit input tries to send the data to a server by default. This is where event prevent default will come in handy. Check out the documentation for event prevent default and see how you can solve that issue. Alright, so I'm going to take a quick 10 minutes break because I'm already a bit tired. So 10 minutes and I'll be right back, and we'll make the button to add more books. And let me put the code right here to bait people. Okay, thanks so much. I'll take a quick break and be right back. Alright, boys, we're back. And we can start hacking again. I want to see how to do these modals and dialogs. To get, wait, greetings, one and all. Yeah, but I think we're going to use something else, not read through this entire thing. Well, do you use Git and GitHub on your Kobo job? Yes, we do use Git, but we're not using GitHub. We're using what was it called? Bitbucket. Bitbucket, right? Yeah, we're using Bitbucket, but we've recently started using Git. Before that, it was another thing integrated into the mainframe. And to be honest, Git made our work like much slower, but anyways. Alright, this is a bit too much for me. Make a form model. How do I make a form model in Windows? Oh, wait. HTML, CSS. Oh, why are those videos so long? There you go, that's what you need. Add CSS, add JavaScript. Alright, maybe I'll have to read on the dialog, because here they're not like using dialog, and they're doing the thing in JavaScript, which I don't think is what we need exactly. So we'll have to do a bit more reading, unfortunately, but it's okay. It's not going to be too much. It's only this article. And we're going to learn how to implement a model, so it's a win. The dialog HTML element represents a model or non-model dialog box or other interactive components such as a dismissive alert, inspector, or sub-window. The HTML dialog element is used to create both model and non-model dialog boxes. Model dialog boxes interrupt interaction with the rest of the page, being inert, while non-model dialog boxes allow interaction with the rest of the page. JavaScript should be used to display the dialog element. Use the .showModel method to display a model dialog and the show method to display a non-model dialog. The dialog box can be closed using the .close method or using the dialog method when submitting a form that is nested within the dialog element. Model dialogs can also be closed by pressing the escape key. Attributes. This element includes the global attributes. Warning: the tab index attribute must not be used on the dialog element. Open indicates that the dialog box is active and is available for interaction. If the open attribute is not set, the dialog box will not be visible to the user. It's recommended to use the show or show model method to render dialogs rather than the open attribute. Okay. Usage notes. HTML form elements can be used to close a dialog box if they have attribute method dialog, or if the button is used to submit the form was form method dialog set. When a form within a dialog is submitted via the dialog method, the dialog box closes. The states of the form controls are saved but not submitted, and the return value property gets set to the value of the button that was activated. The CSS backdrop pseudo element can be used to style the backdrop of a modal box. which is displayed behind the dialog element when the dialog is displayed using the HTML dialog element show modal method. For example, this pseudo element could be used to blur, darken, or otherwise obfuscate the inert content being behind the modal. The autofocus attribute should be added to the element the user is expected to interact with immediately upon opening the modal dialog. If no other element involves more immediate interaction, it is recommended to add autofocus to the close button inside the dialog or the dialog itself if the user is expected to click activate it to dismiss it. Do not add the tab index property to the dialog element. It is not interactive and does not receive focus. The dialog's contents, including the close button contained in the dialog, can receive focus and be interactive. Accessibility, we're going to skip that. Alright, examples, HTML only dialog. This example demonstrates the creation of a non-modal dialog by using only HTML. Because of Boolean open attribute in the dialog element, the dialog appears open when the page loads. The dialog can be closed by clicking the OK button. It is not closed, but maybe I'm missing something, because the method attribute in the form element is set to dialog. In this case, no JavaScript is needed to close the form. Alright, this dialog is initially open because of the presence of the open attributes. Alright, so this is basically the same thing. Creating a modal dialog, so this is what we need. This example demonstrates a modal dialog with a gradient backdrop. The show modal method opens the modal dialog when the show the dialog button is clicked. The dialog can be closed by pressing escape key or via the close method when the close button within the dialog is activated. When a dialog opens, the browser by default gives focus to the first element that can be focused within the dialog. In this example, the autofocus attribute is applied to the close button, giving it the focus when the dialog opens. As this is the element we expect the user will interact with immediately after opening up the dialog. Okay, so in this one we actually do have HTML, CSS and JavaScript. I remember doing something just with HTML and CSS, but I could have used some library or framework. I don't exactly remember that. Okay. So let's see how that works. In HTML, inside the container, if we make a button to add book, will this show? Oh yeah. This is kind of a bummer. Actually, not that big of a deal. We just have to put the other book like on top of the container. We'll worry about centering it later. Or actually, let's just quickly put it in another container. So button container, dot button container, sorry, and let's put the button inside of here. We'll go into the CSS and just center it quickly because it's just too ugly at the moment. I don't like it. Width again will be 1000 pixels. We'll have margin of 0 and auto. That will not quite center it. do display flex and justify content center. We'll add padding of 20 pixels, let's say 40 pixels. And while we're here, button class add book. Let's style the button quickly. Let's give it add book. We'll give it border of none. We'll give it a background color of orange. We'll do color white, font weight of 700, what padding 20 pixels, 20 pixels and 50 pixels, font size of 20 pixels, a little bit less padding, so maybe 30 and 10, 15, sort of. Actually, color we may leave it as black. This is more readable, and we'll do border radius of 10 pixels, a bit more, 20 pixels, 40 pixels. Please, how about adding the margin 0 auto to the button itself? I want to know if that will work. Sure. Wait, so to the button itself, so we'll remove this display flex. I'm doing this margin 0 auto so its container will be centered. Although you can argue that we don't really need to do that. And let's try to add the margin on the button itself. So that doesn't work, but why is that? Wait, add book button. The button is not a block element by default, so margin will not work. That's a good display block. That's a good insight. Yeah, so you can add display block and then margin 0 auto, and this will work. And also we can maybe get rid of this. So I guess if you're building something larger, that will not be optimal, because it's not in a container where it's all equal width and so on and so forth, but it's less code and it's doing exactly the same thing. So we will leave it at that for this project. Good call there on the margin 0 auto on the button. I didn't think of that. And Ahmed as well, thank you for telling us that it should be a block element. Really helpful. Thank you guys. Alright, so we've styled the button. Let me get rid of the developer tools for now. And maybe I can put it the code editor on the left side, browser on the right side. Alright, so now when we click the button nothing happens, but we need to add the dialog. And here in their example, wait, not this one. Here they're adding the dialog on top of the button, although I don't think it matters that much. I'll quickly just copy this. It's dialog button with autofocus to close it and a p tag. So now when we click it, I don't think anything's gonna happen. Alright, it doesn't. The backdrop will not do it at the moment. Let's do the JavaScript part. Do we have any? We don't have any classes there, but alright, we'll see what we're going to do. Let's put it underneath, and we'll do const dialog to get the, but I like to call it a model, so we'll get the model document dot query selector, and we'll look for a dialog. This way it will select the element that is dialog. Const show button, close button. Let me copy this show button. We actually can go with what it is, add book. So show button, it's query selector dot add book. Okay, and then we have two functions to write out. We have show button dot add event listener, and we'll listen for a click. Then we do an arrow function that goes and open up the dialog. So dialog dot show model, and we have one for the close. So close button dot add event listener. We'll listen again for a click on that button, and if that's the case, we'll go ahead and do dialog dot close. So let's see now if our model works. It doesn't, but let's see why is that. Dialog is not defined at HTML button element, so that is 54 dialog. Of course it's not, because I named it model. It's not dialog, model. There you go. Okay, and perfect, it now actually works. And we're getting a little model that we need to style, and it's still not looking exactly beautiful, but we can work with that. Perfect, so I guess we should add a form in here. Add a form. Action I'll not put in for now. We'll have input, type text, name. We'll name it title, ID of title. We'll have another input, text. I did that quicker last time. Input. Right, anyways. Name will be author. ID will be author. We'll have another input that can we have number, name, pages, number, ID, pages, num, and a final input for, I don't think we can have a boolean in here, but we can have a radio button. Type radio. And how did you make radio buttons? Radio buttons. Input type radio, value CSS. Radio. Name red true. ID as well, red true. We'll have a value of true. Let me toggle word wrap because this is a bit annoying, although it may not look as beautiful. And we have one for the false. Read false, and value is false again. So false. So now that we added the form, this is cute, but we don't see any labels. We don't know what those fields are for, and there are horizontal on top of that. Let us first add the labels. So label for title, and we'll do books title. Add a bit of space, add another label for author, and do books, or we'll just type author for short. Add another label for pages number of pages, and let's do how do you add was it radio buttons that had to be in a field set, or was it checkbox buttons? Field set, grouping controls. Yeah. So I think we should have a field set for the radio buttons. Let's do that. Field set. We'll have a legend which will say did you or have you read the book, and inside of that we'll have our two radio buttons, our two inputs, so get them in there. Let me reformat document with prettier. Okay, and this is looking a little bit better, not quite, but only a little bit better. Now let's see how we form. Can we add a class to the form or an ID of book form? And let's try to style it a bit, so because it's just very ugly. Book form, and do display flex direction column. So this is a bit better. Now this button, I actually don't like it being a close button. I want to make it like an X that I can click on, but I guess we'll figure it out in a bit. Can I add how did you add padding in between form inputs, because this is not going to do it. Add padding between form inputs, spacing between form fields, input margin bottom 10 pixels. So on each input, can we actually do a padding of 5 padding of 5 pixels. Remove this one. So let's see how it looks. That doesn't work. Margin bottom of 10 pixels. Yeah. So that's a little bit better. Actually, for the for the inputs also you have to put yes and no, because we don't know what those radio buttons are. Would gap work since we're just flexbox? Gap of 20 pixels. Wow, you're a genius. Indeed, it does work. The thing is now, it does work, but as you can see, there is space between the field, the name of the field, so on and so forth. Everything has a gap in between, and when doing it with the margin button on the input, you can have maybe add a little bit more. You can have them grouped, but that was a good call. I didn't think of gap. Alright, let's see now. Let's add a label for the radio buttons as well. We'll do label for read through. We'll do yes, and another one for label read false no. So we have yes and no. Perfect. The form still is extremely ugly, but we can work with that. I guess let's start adding the JavaScript, and then we'll continue making the form better. So now do we have anything else in here? Handling return value from the dialog. We'll probably need that, so I'm going to read through this. Unfortunately, I'll have to. When the modal dialog is displayed, it appears above any other dialogs that might be present. Everything outside the modal dialog is inert, and interactions outside the dialog are blocked. Notice that when the dialog is open, with the exception of the dialog itself, interaction with the document is not possible. The show the dialog button is mostly obfuscated by the almost opaque backdrop of the dialog and inert. So we need that handling the return value from the dialog. This example demonstrates the return value of the dialog element and how to close the modal dialog by using a form. By default, the return value is the empty string or the value of the button that submits the form within the dialog element, if there is one. This example opens up a modal dialog when the show the dialog button is activated. The dialog contains a form with a select and two button elements, which default to type submit. An event listener updates the values of confirm button when the select option changes. If the confirm button is activated to close the dialog, the current value of the button is the return value. If the dialog is closed by pressing cancel button, the return value is cancel. When the dialog is closed, the return value is displayed under the show the dialog button. If the dialog is closed by pressing escape key, the return value is not updated and the close event doesn't occur, so the text in the output is not updated. Show the dialog. So we have favorite animal, Brian Chimp. If we cancel it, we cannot cancel. We can confirm. Okay. What happens if we have multiple of these? Show the dialog, no validate calls, JS calls, favorite animal, cat, JS calls, no validate calls, normal calls. They're adding CSS, so on and so forth. I don't need that. This is just to build on top of it, but I want to be able to submit the form and get the values inside of the fields. And I don't know wait, am I getting them from the button? Wait, so let's read through that. We have show button, okay, fav dialog, document.get element by id fav dialog, so it's the name of the dialog, okay. Output box, we have somewhere to output it, select element, confirm button, show the dialog button opens the dialog modally, so this is just to show the modal button. Pretty straightforward. Cancel button closes the dialog without submitting because of for method dialog triggering a close event. Close, okay, it will not submit it. Return value triple equals default. No return value. Prevent default. Select L dot value. Have to send the select box value here. So in the JavaScript, when we do the modal close, we actually have to make another function, I think, for the submit. Do we have a submit button on the dialog? I don't think so. Okay, so we'll add another button. It will be, oops, not this button, type submit, and it will say confirm. Let's try with that, confirm, and if you can see, actually we can get the values on top of the screen in the URL tab. But let's see how we're going to do that with JavaScript. We can add a class to that button or an ID to ID equals book submit. Alright, and let's do a variable, so const submit button equals document dot get element by ID, and the ID was, what was it actually? I forgot it already. I don't need that. It is book submit, okay. So book submit, and we have the button in a variable, in a constant. Then we can do submit button dot add event listener for a click that has to that has to prevent default, so event dot prevent default, and we have to store wait, we have to put in here, okay, we have to store what we get. Thank you whoever subscribed, I love you, thank you so much. We have to get whatever values we have passed in each input field into we like have to call the constructor with the book name, author, page num, and is read. So we can say const new book equals new book with I think we also have to get select value. Wait, let me first console log what we get from the select el. Where does that come from? Have to send the select box. This is from the select element. All right, so I don't know what to console log actually, since we're not. Can I do document dot get element by class name? This is elements. Document query selector, and we'll do it's an ID, sorry. So we can do get element by ID. We'll do title, because this is the ID of the first input for the title, dot value. So this way, if I save it and open up the model, I can wait, F12, I can do 1 2 3 here, and oops, not close it but submit it, and we get 1 2 3. Also we need to close the model. So how was that done? It was done with model dot close. So let's see if that will work now. 1 2 3 4 confirm. Yeah, we get it in the console and it's now closed. Now we can make a book and put it into our library, but it will be a bit ugly if we did that in the constructors. So should we do const title equals document dot get element by ID title dot value? So this will be the title, const author equals document dot get element by ID. We'll do author dot value const pages equals document dot. Hey bro, what are you working on today? Welcome to the stream, Apex. We're working on a library application from the Odin project, and let me show you some community solutions. So wow, they did it really cool. You can actually delete them as well. So this is what we're doing right now, but this guy just killed it. Right. This is very nice. Good job to this guy. Wow, props to him. Let me like his solution. But yeah, this is essentially what we're building today. Nice, bro. Does it use local storage to handle the saving? I'm not that deep, to be honest with you. No idea how to do that still. Alright, document. To get the pages, again, get element by ID, and is it pages num? Was that it? Pages num, yep. And the last one. How do we get the value of the radio buttons? Because we'll either have one. Okay, very cool, bro. Have fun. I'll check in later. Yeah, thank you so much for tuning in, my guy. Thank you so much. Because we'll either have one or the other. How do you get field set value in JS? How to get the values from the field set using JS? So use ID to get the component value rather than depending on field set. Input type, submit, form name, first name. By using jQuery, no. Document get element by ID. Let's ask ChatGPT. I think he'll be better at helping us with that. I'll copy this, and I'm trying to handle the data using JavaScript, but how do I know whether to get radio button 1 or 2? Like, I don't know which one is selected. So you can check which radio button is selected by accessing the selected property of the radio button. Since name attribute for radio buttons is the same, you can query them using their name and check which one has the selected property set to true. How you can handle that in JavaScript? Read status. Get the selected radio button. I still don't know how they do that with the question mark. They're saying like document.query selector input name read true checked. Let's see the explanation. Document.query selector input name read true checked. This will return the radio button with the name read true that is checked. If it's not checked, the code fallbacks to checking the read false radio button. Value will give the value of the selected radio button. So isn't this enough? Like dot value, isn't this enough? You probably cannot see, but you're right, you can directly access the value of the check button, but there is a small potential issue with this approach. If no radio button is selected, the document will return no, and attempting to access value or no will cause an error. We'll go with that for now. We'll go with that for now, and we'll change it up later if we need to. Alright, so in the JS we need to const word wrap again. So read status, and it will go into document query selector input with the name of read true. Are there both of them read true? Name, nope, they are not. So ChatGPT hallucinated because they are not named read true. they don't have the same name. One is read true and the other is read false. I see, since the radio buttons have different name attributes, read true and read false, you need to check both of them separately. Here's how you can handle it. You can check if either of the radio buttons is selected and it retrieve its value accordingly. If neither is selected, we set read status to no. So this is a bit complicated how he wrote it, and I don't want to copy paste it, so I'll come up with my lame solution. So we'll just check if document dot query selector input name read true checked dot value equals no or doesn't equal no, then we can set const or let's do let what is it, read status equals to this, and let's do else if basically the same, but instead of read true it is read false. Oh, that became too much. Read false. If it's checked, it's not no, then let's go in and grab that and then do read false again. So this should work now, and console log, we're not getting the console log, but rather we're making a new book. So const new book equals new book with title, author, pages, and read status. So we're creating a new book, and after that we can add book to library, new book, add book to library, new book. Perfect. So I think this is going to work. Let's give it a try. Save it. Alright, book title Minecraft, author notch, number of pages 420. Have you read the book? Yes. Confirm. Confirm. Nothing happens. Let's check the console. Read status is not defined. So we have some issue with the if statement. Let's see why that is. If document.query selector input name read true check dot value doesn't equal no, then let read status can we just do wait, sorry, can we let read status here and then just redefine it? And this is const, I don't need const. I don't think this will solve it, but Minecraft notch 420, yes, confirm. So it did close the model, but I think we have to call show library then once more. So let's try it, and it didn't give us an error, which was strange. So Minecraft notch, number of pages 420. Have you read the book? Yes. Okay. So it kind of works, kind of doesn't. Object HTML input, like the number of pages. I have to add dot value, and this will work. Now the thing is that without the show library, we're not seeing our book reflected, and if we call it again, it will render the whole thing once again. Show library. Right, and I'm not exactly sure how we're going to fix that. I want show library initially to show me all the available books we have, but then once we add a book, can we each book. I think, although it might be silly, I think that, wait, no, I was going to say that if we use inner HTML it's going to work, but it's not, because we're going to use post equals inner HTML, because if we don't use post equals, then there will be only one book, because they're going to overwrite the same cell over and over. And if we use post equals, it's basically the same as this, so that's not the right approach. So let's think about it. Can I remove that and try once more? New book. I'm just going to skip through these. Confirm. So after we confirm, we don't refresh it, which means create tag. Show library for each book. Book card, we do create documents, so on and so forth. I don't know, maybe at the beginning of it, maybe what we can do is for show library, when we initially call it, we can set the container. So do container dot inner HTML and set it to none. This way it will initialize. So after that we can do show library, and see now when I save it, we still have all the books. We create a new book, Minecraft author notch with 420 pages, and I've read the book, and this fixes our issue. Perfect. So now we can add another book, Minecraft 2 notch 2, 2420 pages, and we haven't read it. Confirm, and we add another book. So that indeed works perfect. It's very ugly indeed, but we're not going to worry about that. I'm pretty happy that it works. It was an easy fix. We just had to initialize the containers in HTML before rendering it again. Now I don't know if this is the most right approach that you can use, but it's what we've used. Add a button on each book's display to remove the book from the library. You need to associate your DOM elements with the actual book objects in some way. One easy solution is giving them a data attribute that corresponds to the index of the library array. Add a button on each book's display to change its read status. Alright, so I think we're going to continue with that tomorrow because it's getting kind of late for me and I want to eat and sleep, so on and so forth, so I can do another stream in the morning. So we're going to leave that for tomorrow morning. Thanks so much for everyone who tuned in and watched the stream. I appreciate you guys so much, and I'm just going to quickly commit that and we'll continue tomorrow. So let's do git add o, git commit. I would have forgot to commit, so we'll do added the basic functionality of the library, still not done yet and have more tasks to complete. Perfect. Let's push the changes into GitHub, git push, and with that I'll be ending the stream. Thank you so much. Don't forget to join the Discord so we can have a great community there. We'll build the server from scratch and we'll implement your ideas. Thank you so much everyone who tuned into the stream. I love you so much, and we'll see each other again next time tomorrow. Thanks so much, and until next time, thank you. Bye bye.